5 months after deadly Easter Sunday bomb blast, the Select Committee of Sri Lankan Parliament released a report presenting a shocking revelation that not only churches but Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka was also at the target of the ISIS terrorists. The group, which claimed the responsibility of the attack, had Indian entities on its target with an aim to inflict maximum damage to the Indians residing in Sri Lanka. Earlier, investigation reports on the attack had established Pakistan's connection in the bombings, and that clearly explains terrorists targeting Indian establishments in Sri Lanka, a report.
The Select Committee of Sri Lankan Parliament on Sunday Easter attack has said that the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka was a potential target of terror attack and also referred to intelligence input about a hotel where Indians were staying in large numbers as a likely target. The 272-page report was submitted to Parliament this week by the 9-member Parliamentary Select Committee, which read, "The PSC notes that intelligence information received indicated that the Indian High Commission was one of the potential targets and that it is surprising an intelligence official who is a prominent part within the intelligence apparatus in Sri Lanka was not aware of the possible links between the intelligence information received, source, potential targets."
It is very possible that this would happen because when the Easter Sunday blast happened, under the aegis of the ISI of Pakistan, naturally they have targeted the Indian committee also, keeping in mind that India and Pakistan are age-old enemies, 70 years to be precise. So definitely as they targeted the churches in Sri Lanka, they have also kept in mind that the Indian community living in Sri Lanka will also be a soft target and should be picked especially for creating international panic, which is very true.
The report clearly mentions about loopholes in coordination among Sri Lankan intelligence administration that kept an Indian intelligence official in dark about the prospective attack. Investigators identified Zahran Hashim, one-time leader of the National Tawheed Jamaat, as the main suspect behind the execution of these coordinated attacks.
It's a very detailed report which goes into a lot of the intricacies of what has happened and why the blast happened. Now, not only the churches were targeted, there is also the issue of the Indian community there being targeted, and there are other implications to this. Sri Lanka is a country which is a Buddhist country, known for its tolerance to religion for a long time. But in the last 20-30 years of the civil war, the civil unrest between the Tamil Tigers, the Tamil community and the Sinhala community, the stage has been set for the ISI or the Pakistani agencies to create ill will among the Muslims of Sri Lanka by targeting churches. So it is a calculated move by the ISI to target religion and the ethnicity of the Sri Lankans in large, the Tamils, the Buddhists and the resident Indian community in Sri Lanka.
The report further points out that the Director of State Intelligence Service had sent a top-secret letter to Inspector General of Police 12 days before the attack. The letter mentioned that NTJ and his associates were planning to carry out a suicide attack in Sri Lanka and that they were to target some churches and Indian High Commission. The letter also stated that the modes of attack may include suicide attack, weapon attack, knife attack or truck attack.
They want to internationalize the Kashmir solution. Internationalize the Kashmir solution, which they can only do by taking it outside the borders of India and Pakistan. So wherever the Indians are living in large quantities, Southeast Asia or Europe or America or wherever the Indians live in large quantities, they would like to create disturbance and a lot of things. And one more thing we would like to add, it is not just Pakistan that is behind all these blasts. China seems to be the mastermind. While concrete evidence has not risen, it is very obvious that China would also like to create more animosity between India and Pakistan.
The report concluded that there was intelligence failure on the part of Director SIS. The PSC also speaks about failure on the part of the SIS to act on the subsequent intelligence information received after the explosion on April 16, 2019 in Kattankudi. On April 21st, Easter Sunday, suicide terrorist bombings in 3 churches and 3 hotels in Sri Lanka killed around 270 people and wounded more than 400 people. The 8 suicide bombers were also killed. At least 40 foreign nationals and at least 45 children were reported to be among the dead.